Welcome to the Improve Work podcast. I'm your host, Daniela Tancău, an HR consultant helping entrepreneurs and team leaders build motivated, high-performing teams. Here we talk about leadership, employee motivation, and other topics that enhance your ability to lead, whether you are an entrepreneur with a team, a business owner planning to build one, or a leader in a company. You'll gain practical advice and insights from me and my guests, experts in the field and entrepreneurs who share their leadership experiences. If you are new here, be sure to subscribe to stay updated on every episode. Let's dive into today's topic. Hi, welcome back to the Improve Work podcast. I have a question for you today. Is AI driving a return to in-person selection of job candidates? Did you think about this? In-person selections were partially or to a large extent replaced by online interviews and assessments, especially for remote job positions. Advancements in AI have made it possible for companies to reduce hiring costs, access a broader pool of candidates, streamline selection processes, and even lower salary offers by hiring globally. And on the other hand, candidates now have access to powerful tools, often free, to apply for job positions, craft strong resumes, prepare for interviews and tests, and even use AI in real time during interviews or assessments to tailor their responses. And as a result, the advantages companies gain through AI are becoming questionable, right? Is the information gathered through AI valid? Do these results truly reflect a candidate's knowledge, skills, and character traits? And let's take a closer look at this idea. Candidates' behavior with AI is different than the behavior with a real human being, right? If the hiring interviews are with AI, you can't expect the candidates to behave the same as they would in an interview with a real human being. And here are some arguments. First, lack of rapport and connection. Great interviewers establish rapport with the candidate to create an open interaction. You can get different responses based on how the candidate perceives the interviewer. If the interviewer is seen as a trustworthy and friendly person, the candidate will be more willing to be honest and behave in an open and in a friendly manner as well. And if the interviewer is distant and shows a cold attitude, the candidate's behavior could be distant and reserved as well. Now you can train AI to be friendly, but because it's a machine, the candidate's behavior response will not be the same. Then, in an interview with a person, enthusiasm for the job or lack of it, it's often shown through attitudes, behaviors, and other cues. But in interviews with AI, do people really show enthusiasm to a machine? It's not natural. So if enthusiasm is shown, it's most likely because the candidate knows it will help them score higher. And in this case, it's a faked behavior, even if the candidate is genuinely enthusiastic about the job. We don't naturally smile or show other facial expressions that we have in interactions with human beings to a machine. If the machine that interview candidates has this setting of scoring, of giving points or penalize those who don't smile, it will unfairly score the candidates. Then candidates may refrain from sharing information that they know it's not fully confidential, which can remain stored in various databases and can be accessed later by people who they don't really know. In-person interviews, who are not recorded, create space for more openness and honesty. Because the interviews notes are just partially, they don't note everything the candidate is saying, and they share information about the candidate just with those people involved directly in the hiring process. And some people are simply not comfortable speaking with AI or being in front of a camera. They lack camera skills. And these factors can negatively impact how they are perceived by hiring companies and lead to their elimination, even though they might have even though they might behave completely differently in real interactions and work collaborations. And without real reactions, open answers, gestures, and body language cues, you limit your ability to understand how the candidate perceives the job offer and better understand their character and attitudes. Let's see other aspects we miss when interviews are online. In the case of in-person interviews, a candidate's image is formed from the moment he or she enters the building to the moment they leave the building. Things like how they interact with the front office person, where they choose to sit, their posture during the interview, their outfits, and other small details like this contribute to that impression. With AI interviews, these details are lost. Will in-person selections become more popular in hiring processes? Ensuring the validity of information gathered from candidates during online interviews and assessments has become a significant challenge. Even for remote job positions, you still want to truly know the person you are hiring. You want to understand their real skills and competencies, how they are as individuals, what kinds of behavior or attitudes you can expect from them, and whether they are reliable. Online assessments were a viable option until recently, but now when anyone can be supported by AI, even during live online interviews, including those with real people, how much can we trust the information we gather about candidates through online methods? For example, you wouldn't want to hire an accountant, a marketing specialist, or an engineer without being confident that they have the foundational knowledge in their fields, knowledge that ensures they understand what they are doing and what to do, even if they are assisted by AI in their jobs. The goal of testing candidates is on one hand to assess each individual's capabilities and on the other to compare candidates and identify those who are best suited for the positions we are offering. Those with high scores can bring real advantages to the company. AI proficiency is an additional skill that may be relevant in certain roles, but its effectiveness depends on the candidate's core skills and competencies in their field. How are you addressing these challenges in your online selection processes? Where the interviews take place matters. For job positions that are not remote or that are only partially remote, holding interviews at the location where the new employee will work is a key component in assessing the candidate's motivation for the job. Seeing the place where they would come every day if working on site or regularly if working partially remotely provides valuable information that can influence their decision to accept the job offer. Usually, people look for the same or better working conditions that they currently have or had in their previous jobs. For example, if they have a small desk area, they will appreciate being offered a larger workspace. On the other hand, if they have their own office and you are offering them a small desk in a shared space, they may not find that appealing. Similarly, if they are used to having lunch in a nice lunch area and your office lacks any design lunch space, this can negatively impact their motivation to accept the job offer. Where the offices are located is also a very important detail. Sometimes candidates form a real impression of the location only when they go to that location. And if candidates have to spend a lot of time commuting or cover a long distance to get to the office, it may affect their interest in the role. Easy access to public transportation, stores, and other amenities can influence their decision. There are many details like this that can influence a candidate's decision about whether they are willing to join the company. Candidates need to know these things before making a decision about the job offer, and an online interview or one conducted by AI can provide this information to them. And if you are thinking of sending pictures of the location, it's not the same thing. How a place looks in a photo and how it feels when you are actually there are two very different experiences. Therefore, interviews with at least the shortlisted candidates should be conducted at the workplace location, or at the very least, they should visit it before receiving a job offer and get their feedback about the location. Otherwise, you risk going through the hiring paperwork and the onboarding process only to find out that the new employee is unhappy with the working conditions or with the location and decides to resign. In conclusion, as the accuracy of information obtained through online selection processes becomes increasingly questionable for both sides and can lead to poor hiring decisions, which in turn create various costs for companies, companies find themselves needing to address this challenge. And returning to more traditional methods to direct interactions with candidates may be one of the possible solutions. AI can be still used, for example, to create job descriptions and support the recruitment process. However, the selection stage may benefit from being more focused on direct interactions between candidates and representatives of the hiring companies. If you want more help from me in your hiring process, you can have it through my online course named How to Hire Candidates Motivated by Your Job Offers. And you'll find a link in the show notes. And if you go to that page, you have the chance to preview the first session. Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you found value in this podcast, one way to support us is by subscribing. For more tools and insights to enhance your leadership skills and your employees' motivation, visit my website at improvework.ro. There you'll find a variety of online programs and courses. You can also book a free consulting sessions or a discovery call with me. I love to connect and support you on your leadership journey. See you in the next episode.